Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. In less than 24 hours, Nigeria will be 63 years and counting. And with the nation currently in the throes of a complicated struggle for economic sustenance and deepening political crisis, the usual celebrations may likely be subdued. Among the myriad of challenges confronting the nation is a poor governance structure, which in practice mostly cuts off a large chunk of the population from what has come to be known as dividends of democracy. This situation keeps feeding into calls for greater autonomy for the third tier of the government, the local government. Now, the youth empowerment also takes pride of place among issues which are considered to be hampering Nigeria's search for true nationhood. As we make progress, we turn now to our next guest, Naseer Suleiman, who is the president of the United Nigeria Youth Congress, to focus on his group's ongoing attempts to build momentum across the 36 states of Nigeria through their houses of assembly. Many thanks for being here with us in the studio, Mr. Chamber.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, like I highlighted in my intro, Nigeria approaches its 63rd year of independence. Now, in your opinion, could you elaborate on what you would say are the key challenges facing the nation in terms of governance and youth empowerment, as well as giving the deepening political crisis and economic challenges? How do you perceive the current state of the nation, and what, again, in your opinion, needs to be the immediate focus for national development?
All right, first of all, let me begin by a bit of introduction. The United Nigerian Youth Congress is an organization meant for the promotion of national unity, peace, and patriotism across the country. We are a non-partisan youth movement dedicated in championing the cause for a peaceful and prosperous Nigeria through uniting the youth and the entire populace. Our dream is to instill a spirit of patriotism among young Nigerians in a bid to ensure a brighter future for our country and for the future generations, and let those values of patriotism become part and parcel in all our day-to-day modus operandi. When you look at the issues going today in our country, we as an organization look at it as the total lack of patriotism from the governance and to the people in general. If we are to solve the issue of patriotism in our country, we believe that the problems we are facing today will drastically reduce. There is no way a governor who is elected to serve the people will steal funds meant for the people, meant for the government, meant for the betterment of the country in general. There is total lack of patriotism there. So when you look at the current issues facing today, it begins from all parts of the country. There is a total lack of patriotism, of course, as I have said from the beginning. The institution of family has also broken down. The respect in leaders and constitute of authority, which is the cardinal principles of every society, is nowhere to be found in our country today. There is immorality in our society, insecurity in our politics, corruption everywhere, lack of patriotism, and a lack of belief from the government and to the people. So these challenges have been facing our country for almost 63 years today. And what have we done to checkmate or to solve this kind of problems in our country, which I don't think there's any contribution from the government or to the people on how to solve our problems that we are facing today. This is why the United Nigerian Youth Congress was formed over a decade ago, to educate Nigerians on what the values of patriotism are, and then those in government to also remind them of their responsibilities and duties as a government. So this is what the United Nigerian Youth Congress has been doing, and also this is what the issues we are facing today in our country is what we are also trying, to see a better future in our country in general.
All right, Naseer, that's a good one, but talk to us about the mission of your organization, particularly in respect to the visitation to all the 36 states houses of assembly. What is the mission? Will it have anything to do with the fact that, yes, former President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the Local Government Financial Autonomous Bill, But as you are aware, many states, particularly many state house of assembly that you'll be meeting with, are yet to, they are, are totally against it, which negates the whole idea of independence of local government, states, and federal. How are you approaching this anomaly, and what will be your message by the time that you'll be meeting with all the state houses of assembly across the entire 36 states in the federation?
All right. In 2022, in our last general conference, we made a promise that anyone who emerged victorious in the election, this last election, 2023 general election, we will contribute to the government. So this is part of our promise that we made, despite the fact that we are a non-partisan youth organization. So we intend to collaborate with all the three arms of government, that is the executive, the legislators, and the judiciary. We want the executive to give us, a flexible way in which we can contribute to the government, not to a person or any political party, but to the government in Nigeria. Because we believe if the government succeeded, Nigeria succeeded in general. Our loyalty, my loyalty is for Nigeria, is for the country. So this is what we want from the executive. And when it comes to the legislative, we have a mission currently to visit the 36 state assemblies and the National Assembly in general. That is both the Senate and the House of Representatives, which have already started. And we are also remind the legislators, the House of Assembly, that they should. That is why these three executive governments, three arms of government were being created, because one to checkmate one to checkmate one. So we always remind the legislators of the state assembly to fight and stop whatever the executive cannot bring just law anyhow, but the legislators should be the ones to protect the law and also to guide the executive in some instance. So likewise the judiciary, which currently our country is facing, our democracy is facing a threat in our country today. Because looking at the aftermath of the election, all cases are now in tribunal, which most of the cases are now heading towards appeal. So we are calling on the judiciary to please help and save our democracy, because without the judiciary, there is no way our democracy will be stable. The problems we are facing, looking at example, the things happening like in Kano, what happened in Kano with youths burning, their voters card, which that shows not a good sign of our democracy. That shows that there is a problem somewhere. The mandate of the people should stand across the country. I'm not talking about one state only. I'm talking about all the country, including the state assemblies, National Assembly members, the governors in general. So we want the government to help protect our democracy in general, to help protect our people, to help to protect our country, so that we can be able to move our country forward in all directions. This is what we are clamoring for, and this is what we have been fighting for over a decade ago.
All right, then. Thank you so much for setting the tone of the conversation, especially in regards to youth empowerment, which is crucial, of course, for any nation's progress. Now, can we focus, or can you, in your view, maybe talk about what the major obstacles hindering effective youth empowerment programs in Nigeria could possibly be, and what solutions you propose to address these challenges? Also, if we can touch on the issue of local governance and grassroots empowerment, which has been a long-standing concern. Do you believe that maybe restructuring local governments could lead to better governance and the delivery of essential services to the people?
Okay, this is a very good question. As I have told you from the beginning, one of our aims visiting the state assembly is to remind them about the importance of local government across the country. You know, local government is one of the most important, factor or government because it is much closer to the people. So looking at what is happening today, you know, the rate of poverty in our country, that lack of autonomy from the local government is, you know, giving us a huge problem. And that is why most of our, you know, localities, wards, people find it very difficult to even know, you know, what the local government are doing or what the government are doing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know the problem. Why governments are always hijacking, you know, the affairs of local government. I remember, during the first, after the return of democracy in 1999, those set of local government chairmen were one of the most important key factor to the development at that time. But unfortunately, during the years, our governors have hijacked the affairs of local government, whereby local government are not given, you know, the full autonomy to work for their people. I remember someone was telling me that there is a local government in one of our states, in one of the states, that was receiving, I think I have forgotten the amount, maybe 100 million or something, but at the end, they only receive 10 million naira, which, if you look at that amount, is very small. The issue is we need the autonomy of the local government. And as the former president passed the bill, which I don't know what happened at the end, but I don't think the challenges always comes from the governors. So I'm calling on the governors to please, if they are of the interest of Nigeria, to give the local government autonomy so that our country can move forward. Secondly, you talk about the issue of youth empowerment. The youth are not given the opportunity they need in order to, you know, to take our country forward. That was why in my congratulatory message to all the offices elected, I call on the Mr. President to please, his campaign promises, that the promises he made during his campaign, that he will give the youths, you know, a very good percentage in his government, which somehow it is not up to, you know, the expectation. We want the president to give the youth the chance to contribute in the affairs of this country, because the youth have more idea when it comes to, you know, modern ideas on how, you know, things can be taken and move forward. And then when it's not only the youth, we are talking about inclusion, youth inclusiveness, you know, including the women. Women should also participate very well in a significant amount, so that everywhere will be, you know, balanced for the interests of our country.
All right, Naseer, two quick questions from me. From not too young to run to now not too young to rule, what will be your organization's, the United Nigeria Youth Congress's assessment of how the youth have been, you know, embraced in positions of government at the federal and at the state level so far? It's just barely 4 months of the new administration, but what is your own assessment? Then secondly, Nigeria will be 63 tomorrow. A lot of people expect, of course, that the president's message will focus on his renewed hope agenda. For you, as an advocate of youth empowerment, what will you prefer that the president speak about, especially as it affects the youth and youth development in Nigeria?
All right. First of all, I will begin with what I realized. A few days ago, I visited the National Assembly, which I was very, very happy to see that this 10th Assembly has one of youth have never been, you know, in seats like this 10th Assembly, which is a very progress to our youth. Secondly, I want to, you know, make it clear that the United Nigerian Youth Congress focus on having, good governance. So the issue of not too young to run, or the issue of not too old to rule, that shouldn't be the factor or the problem. The problem is having having the right people in all positions. That is what the United Nigerians is clamoring for, to have all Nigerians, anyone who can contribute positively to the impact of our country should be in any position. Despite the fact that, sometimes age matters, if you need to think critically or, to think in a positive way, sometimes age matters. And then, sorry, remind me of the second question, please.
I said that Nigeria will be 63 tomorrow, and the president will give, traditionally a speech that will focus on a renewed hope. For you, what will you like him to speak about as far as, your own agenda is concerned?
All right, our target in the United Nigerian Youth Congress is to build a new nation. That is, to bring new reforms, new issues that will help us, as a country as a whole to progress. Which I'm sure the president, on his agenda of the renewed hope, is like in the same, direction with our agenda of building that new nation that we are hoping for. So that is why I'm saying the president needs people like us. We are ready to contribute to the president, which I am sure and I'm optimistic that the president will listen to our call, and all his mission, of that renewed hope will also collaborate, with organizations like United Nigerian Youth Congress, to focus on what will happen in the next at least 4 years of his tenure. I also want to call on Mr. President to not forget about his promise that he will include the youths in his government, which to some extent he has, but it is not up to the expectation of the number of the youths. Looking at his party, APC, before the general election, the primary election, to buy nomination form, you have to spend like 10 million naira on a minimum of the, to be in the National Assembly, which, looking at that kind of money, is not, youths, and a normal youth cannot have that kind of money. The money is too much. So I want him to first start from his party, and then though he's the president now of all, and then let him, continue, on giving the youths more power, more chances, so that we can all contribute to the development and affairs of our country.
All right, then. Thank you so much.